I'm gonna teach you Reverse Cursed Technique, and the reason each character unlocks it in the series, including Modulo, so you can be a stronger sorcerer and compete with Satoru Gojo, the sponsor of this
Gojo, what is this?
I was requested to expand on the domain expansion video, so let's talk about a similar trick, the way to learn Reverse Cursed Technique. You know how it's easier to draw a straight line when you're looking at where you want the pencil to go, instead of where it's starting from? People control cursed energy the same way, because they have to do it manually. If you get self-conscious about each step of an action, you can throw off the momentum you naturally have, and hold yourself back. So in order to use cursed energy, people try to keep the right concept in mind to let their natural movements around it end up causing the right combined effect. Domain expansions are an example of this. You need some skill with barriers, which means you need a good grasp of what it feels like to effectively use your cursed energy, but anyone could do that with training. Even if they can butt heads with curses and control their own cursed energy, it's much harder for a sorcerer to be self-aware about the trajectory of their life, caused by their own unchangeable behaviors. So it's rare someone will figure out the right balance for their barrier technique and how to seamlessly plug their cursed technique into it. To recap, the trick is that if you're good at breaking out of your comfort zone, and you've got a sense of what your life's overall curse is, then as a sorcerer, that perspective will naturally make it easier to expand your domain. Domain expansions are about dragging enemies into your wider curse, and strongly manifesting it through cursed energy to deal with them. And if you focus on that idea, the barriers and steps involved will naturally balance and fall into place. Reverse Cursed Technique is about finding hope through your curse. If you can find a positive, because there's some way the behaviors caused by your wider curse can be used to brighten your life's trajectory, then you can unlock Reverse Cursed Technique. It's like finding a loophole. All you have to do is remember what it's like when your focus is centered on your wider curse, and how that awareness lets you fiddle with how it plugs into what you do, so you can change the consequences of your life like they're on a slider. Then, you apply the same adjustment to your perspective to how you use cursed energy, and you can twist it into a positive, even if that means it's then harder to use for combat. This is how every character seems to awaken Reverse Cursed Technique. When Gojo spends time using his ability to hold others back and protect himself to instead help someone weak and defenseless, and then all his defenses fail him, so in his last moments, he can freely experiment with his cursed energy, that perspective helps him pull off the Reverse Cursed Technique. And then later on, because of that incident, he gains the conviction to use his ability to protect and train the next generation so the world can be a better place. Higuruma either learns the Reverse Curse Technique for the first time, or at least triggers it by refocusing in battle on what larger positive goal his flaws and limits can be used to accomplish. That's not Megumi throwing his life away. That's someone self-aware and able to build on who they are because they have a knack for finding technicalities and turning rules into building blocks. If you can find strength in your overall curse in life that curses your actions, you can use that curse against itself to accomplish things. And even the characters we don't see awaken Reverse Curse Technique on screen have this awareness that the other characters don't, as one of the traits they're specifically designed to have. Yuki Tsukumo ignores her own talents and Jujutsu Society itself so she can pursue a larger goal the rest of Jujutsu Society lack the self-awareness to realize, even if it's not something she can reach herself. Sure, that conviction might be caused by her innate technique, but as a result, she can definitely use Reverse Cursed Energy. The idea behind Star Rage is, if nobody's stepping up to a task somebody needs to complete, then even if there's no one suited to it, the world needs someone with the conviction to take it on anyway, despite the expectations of them in their own life, or the calling they do have that they need to ignore. Star Rage and the conviction caused by its concept of adding imaginary mass lets a star plasma vessel break free from the hope other people place on her so she can march onward and set her own path to solve a larger problem nobody else is taking on, even if it's something her entire life will only be a stepping stone to deal with. Because the position in life she was born to be happy and needed by specific people in doesn't solve everyone's wider issues, she might be the only one to have a chance to deal with. I try to be impartial, but I do have favorite characters in series, and aside from making Yuki one of mine, this is an example of how the awareness that lets someone awaken Reverse Curse Technique puts altruistic people on trajectories where they sacrifice themselves for universal causes. The opposite can also happen if they embrace being a curse. The only requirement for reverse cursed technique is that you're thinking of your life's curse in terms of how you can make the most of it, and you have the skill to deliberately let that curse empower your life going forward. If you let your curse define you and find your life through it, then you'll still awaken reverse cursed technique, but instead of contribute to a greater cause, it lets you heal yourself to cause more destruction the same way a cursed spirit heals with a regular cursed energy. Uraume could never relax without harming people nearby, so instead found belonging abandoning humanity and becoming a living curse for Sukuna, who could make use of the cold. And we just talked about Sukuna. The guy lives by his curse and is willing to double down on it to the grave. So he has reverse cursed energy, and it lets him continue to make the world worse until he's exorcised. Put simply, the concept of reverse cursed technique you need to focus on and be aware of to naturally use it is that you're using the curse that limits your life to also empower it. Either you're letting your curse guide you, or you're undermining your curse to achieve a larger goal at the cost of your own life. And the mindset of someone who has the aptitude for it lets negative things happen to them. Hazanoki is nonchalant about replacing the pieces of his body, and the people born with innate abilities to use reverse curse technique are unserious with their obligations, because again, the idea of reverse cursed technique is accepting your curse but finding a loophole or undermining it. Shoko is casual about everything, but lets stressful things happen to her and break her down instead of doing anything about them, aside from things that only treat the symptoms but make the problems worse over time. And even if she cuts corners, she still technically gets tasks done, just in an unorthodox way that throws everybody else off because she can concentrate on self-indulgence through her obligations. She naturally finds her own life within her curses. Innate reverse cursed technique is somewhere in the middle of the spectrum of people's attitudes towards curses, where on one end you have complete heavenly restriction users like Maki and Toji who reject and escape them, and on the other end you have creation users like Mai and Yorozu who embrace the curses they see, so they get a technique that makes consequences of curses permanent parts of the world. They can use their cursed energy from their cursed mental activity to create permanent physical objects, and their stories end with them creating cursed tools. An innate reverse cursed technique user needs to accept curses in general, not just their own, so they can either embrace or undermine them through their own way of living in them and hijacking them. The requirement to use reverse cursed technique is just that you do this for your own major curse. You hijack it, and then you can strengthen how you live from and in and through it. It was easier for a half curse like Choso to learn reverse cursed technique, because since a cursed spirit is made from cursed energy, he could use his own energy to make more of his blood. According to blood manipulation, blood is symbolic of the self, and you are turning yourself into a tool to fight for your family. So making more blood is conceptually showing that since you're part curse, you can naturally make more of yourself through curses to be a tool to fight for your family, which is why Choso can make blood, but extends to reverse curse technique as a whole, because all you have to do is tweak the idea. That's why the mechanism of blood generation is already a narrower version of what you can do with reverse cursed energy, and why Choso and Yuji could learn reverse curse technique more easily once they had that first ability down. But that's the gist of how to unlock reverse cursed technique. We can go over hypothetical cases, what reverse cursed energy could be used to do, or how to use it to heal others some other time.